Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of Opposition, members of Parliament, and fellow Fijians. Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for this opportunity to contribute to this very important budget debate. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji has weathered the most difficult storm in its history.
Absolutely. Yes.
The pandemic struck Fiji when we were in the best space of our economic boom. The Fijian economy, and we need to paint this picture, Honourable Speaker, the Fijian economy was gaining momentum year on year. We were strengthening our presence in the region and internationally, whether it was in the terms of trade or economic relations, or raising small island states' concerns on climate issues. We were at the forefront, Honourable Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's actually absolutely shocking to hear the opposition today. And I'll say that again, it's shocking. From the leader, I will explain, from the leader to each and every speaker from the opposition. They are completely bereft of any ideas, Honourable Speaker, sir. Nothing remotely looking like a counter budget to what the Honourable Minister for Economy presented to all of us. It's quite simple, Mr. Speaker. Opposition has no ideas. They have no understanding of how to deal with a country that was suffering, Honourable Speaker.
Absolutely.
No vision of where the country needs to go, Honourable Speaker. That, Mr. Speaker, sir, has been the case for the last 8 years, Honourable Speaker, sir. They are a directionless, rudderless, captainless, leaderless group, Honourable Speaker, sir. And they want to lead the country, Honourable Speaker, sir? I doubt it. Everybody is listening today. They have been waiting with bated breath. They're listening, Honourable Speaker, sir. The fact, and I want the whole of Fiji to hear this, the fact that the opposition calls every government support a freebie is absolute gross disrespect to our people, Honourable Speaker, sir. What they're essentially saying, Honourable Speaker, is that we shouldn't have provided essentials and we shouldn't have provided financial relief to businesses. We should... Order. We shouldn't have provided financial relief to businesses, Honourable Speaker, and families who had no source of income for months, Honourable Speaker, sir. We shouldn't have provided stall fees for those thousands of vendors that we have in this country, Honourable Speaker. We shouldn't be subsidizing bus fares for our children and the elderly, Honourable Speaker. We shouldn't continue with free education and recognize the best talents by providing scholarships, Honourable Speaker. Shame on them. What they're saying is that we simply, Honourable Speaker, should not provide anything for our people and let them find a solution for themselves, Honourable Speaker. This needs to be heard by the whole of Fiji, because that's what you're going to get if they come on this side of the House, Honourable Speaker. I want every single citizen, Honourable Speaker, to realize what could be your future if the opposition was to decide it for you, Honourable Speaker. They, on the other side of the House, Honourable Speaker, will let you suffer alone, Honourable Speaker, since we are giving you a freebie, Honourable Speaker, according to them. Mr. Speaker, sir, like I said, they're bereft of ideas. They just want to take us backwards. Opposition is asking us to join the bandwagon of Papua New Guinea and the Solomon Islands. We shouldn't be aspiring to be Singapore. Where are they living? In La La Land? Honourable Speaker, sir, it will be a sad day in Fiji if we started looking back rather than looking forward. rather than striving to be the best in the region, Honorable Speaker, sir. Our vision, Honorable Speaker, is for the future and for growth, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I sat here and I started thinking, I thought, what's going on? Specifically, from two members on the other side of the house, one coming from Nanronga and the other one from Nabosa. And then I thought, hang on, maybe, just maybe, they've been testing the tetrahydrocannabinol concentration in a particular plant to see whether it falls within the prescribed limit for plantation purposes. Maybe that's what they've been smoking, sir. Honorable Speaker, sir, what the opposition has stated so far is actually the opposite to any vision, Honorable Speaker. Instead of unity, they have preached disunity. Case in point, it's disappeared. Instead of togetherness, the opposition has preferred divisiveness. Exactly how they run their party, sir. Divisiveness. Yet again, and they're still trying to split the people of Fiji on the base of racial lines, Honorable Speaker. The opposition and their associates are using every tactic under the sun to discredit the budget and use it for their own political benefit, sir. The Fiji First government believes in providing for its people, Honorable Speaker. It is not about winning votes, it's actually about winning hearts, Honorable Speaker. It's about ensuring that our people's suffering is lessened, Honorable Speaker. And they are confident to get back to a normal life and to try to make a new way of life so it is economically safe, Honorable Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, this really rubs me the wrong way. This really irks me. And I know it irks every member of the House on this side of the House. The utter rubbish, absolute rubbish that is coming from the other side of the House is quite appalling. A personalized attack on the Minister for Economy this morning, Honorable Speaker. Absolutely disgusting. In fact, it appears that it's bordering on the abuse of parliamentary privilege. I'm 100% sure they can't produce an ounce of proof for what they're actually alleging. It's nonsensical gibberish and garbage, Honorable Speaker. And for a moment, if he was here, I would tell us to his face, come and say it outside, Honorable Speaker. Come and say it outside. Because he would dare not do that. It's disgusting, and it is dishonorable, and it is not the kind of stuff we want to hear in this House. And God forbid those people that actually put him in the House, that they heard that, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the Honorable Attorney General and the Minister of Economy stated, Fiji is out of its darkest times. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have come out of our darkest times because of the decisive leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister. And Honorable Speaker, sir, it is because of his commitment to the Fijian people. Every single Fijian person, not just one part of it, Honorable Speaker. And with the support and understanding of the people of Fiji, that has helped us achieve our national vision of an inclusive cover where no Fijian is left behind, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, globally, we still face challenges with the aftermath of the pandemic and other external shocks, such as the Russia-Ukraine war and increasing fuel and food prices. But they seem to forget that. They also seem to forget that we've gone through 14 cyclones, Honorable Speaker, and some of which has caused such irreparable damage to this country. And the fact that we had to use billions of dollars to do all the repair for it. They simply forget that, Honorable Speaker. The 2022-2023 budget gives us hope by providing a well-designed plan, Honorable Speaker, to maintain our course on the road to recovery. Mr. Speaker, so the budget is built on three strong pillars of infrastructure, education, and health, together with long-term policies on business and investments. It continues the stable, the consistent, and the inclusive theme of all Fijian government plans and strategies, and that my friends, is the answer to being on this side of the house, Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Commerce, Trade, Tourism, Transport has actually played a critical role in our journey to economic recovery. With a budget of $97.2 million, Mr. Speaker, so we will see to a recovery that's inclusive and a recovery that builds resilience. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 12.4% economic growth that we're expecting is fueled by tourism, contrary to what some other people may believe on the other side, where they've got their figures all jumbled up. So is the triple-digit 168.3 increase in demand for labor and increased vacancies. By the way, Honourable Speaker, Fiji is the do word for everybody around the world. They're looking to risk diversify, and the one place that they want to come to is Fiji, because all we put in place. For the first half of this year, Honourable Speaker, we've already recovered over half our tourism numbers for the same period in 2019. June arrivals were 73% of the same month pre-pandemic. These numbers, Mr. Speaker, show that we're on an accelerated path to recovery. Recovery that will see to at least 500,000 visitors to our shores, which brings us close to 1.3 billion in revenue this year, Honourable Speaker. This just didn't happen with a flick of a thumb, Honourable Speaker. It took a lot of hard work from this government to do it. And by 2024, we expect a full recovery, Honourable Speaker. We are where we are today because this government has delivered on its commitment, Honourable Speaker. We set ourselves vaccination goals to open our borders. We achieved that, Honourable Speaker. We worked with industry to develop COVID-safe protocols to welcome back tourists and open businesses. We achieved that, Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, while our priority was to restore jobs, the opposition was out convincing the public that COVID-19 was a conspiracy, Honourable Speaker. Like everything that they talk about, it stems from this conspiracy theory that they have. Everything. That also, they came up with the idea that our national airlines shouldn't be supported. Actually, that's very unpatriotic, Honourable Speaker. Who we were going to rely on? Some other airline to bring all the tourists? Some other airline to bring the 500,000 that's been projected already? No, Honourable Speaker. That is at the bottom of the rung when it comes to patriotism. In fact, they went as far as saying that we shouldn't open our borders. But this was part of their plan, Honourable Speaker, sir. Over the last two years, we made historic tax reforms to afford the industry income and to add our competitiveness. We removed the STT, we removed the ECAL, we reduced departure taxes, we introduced a tax deduction for engaging local artists. In this budget, Mr. Speaker, sir, these remain because, as we promised, we want to give the private sector continued confidence to invest. Despite what the industry has gone through, we still have the Honourable Gavoka demanding that taxes government is owed be paid. Not a single constructive contribution on his part. The investors will fly out, come back, and never to be seen again, Honourable Speaker. The way that he's looking at it is put every tax in the sun back on. It's not going to work, Honourable Speaker. We are in a different space when it comes to our country. Mr. Speaker, sir, these measures and this budget was not designed for immediate relief alone. It has been carefully designed to create certainty going into the future, a future that they can't see, Honourable Speaker, sir. In terms of the Tourism Fiji and its marketing grant, in the last financial year, Mr. Speaker, sir, Tourism Fiji saw to our market re-entry. It also saw the successful launch for our Open for Happiness campaign. But our so-called tourism expert on the other side of the house questioned Tourism Fiji's allocation. Why so much when the borders were closed? Mr. Speaker, sir, the 230,000 visitors didn't just come on their own, Honourable Speaker, sir. We took it ourselves, and our message that we're open and safe to them, Honourable Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the budget, we are better resourcing our marketing arm. We're going to make every marketing dollar count, because unlike last year, a number of destinations have now opened up. That means competition is much stronger. And by the way, they all fly Fiji Airways, Honourable Speaker. In this financial year, Tourism Fiji received a $1.1 million increase in its marketing budget. with a marketing budget of $22 million. Tourism Fiji is working to launch an evolution of the Fijian brand that puts our people, our culture, and natural environment firmly at the heart of how we market ourselves. And this is very much aligned to Tourism Fiji's recently launched corporate plan. We're also looking at new markets, Honourable Speaker, sir. Having launched a direct route to Adelaide in July, Fiji Air will also later this year fly direct to Vancouver for the first time. This is an opportunity to build our presence in the North American market. As you would know, sir, we have a huge diaspora there, which we can actually also tap into too. Mr. Speaker, sir, aside from the US and Canada, we will continue strengthening our brand presence in Australia and New Zealand, especially when the resumption of direct flights from Sydney, with the resumption of direct flights from Sydney and Auckland to Suva, sir. We will also maintain a conservative budget for the Asian markets, such as China and Japan, in anticipation of their full opening. Mr. Speaker, sir, these efforts will be supported by an operational budget allocation of approximately $7.5 million. Mr. Speaker, sir, we're also now embarking on a renewed sectoral framework that will set the course of not only recovery but sustainable growth for the Fijian tourism industry over the next 10 years. We will do this with the support of the IFC. With respect to MSMEs, Mr. Speaker, sir, Honourable Jale claimed that the support to the people is boomerang aid. Mr. Speaker, sir, if the Fijian government had not provided support to the MSMEs from 2014, there would not have been a thriving middle-income society, Honourable Speaker. At the heart of our recovery, something which they never think of and they fail to see, and all MSME owners should listen to this, at the heart of our recovery is MSMEs. Whether it's the market juice seller, the neighborhood tailor, or a family-run garage, these businesses, Honourable Speaker, sir, form the foundation of our economy. Mr. Speaker, so the government's priority is to raise the productivity of MSMEs and to do so by investing in capabilities that we need for the future. So whether it's the shorter-term financial investments such as the concessional loans or long-term programs such as the NDP and the Young Entrepreneurship Scheme, our investment in MSMEs are here to stay. Mr. Speaker, sir, consistent leadership, policies and sustainable programs are what we need. This is clearly not an election budget, or what some might term as a Sangamoli budget. If it's anything, that particular person's contribution at a later stage might be worth hearing, because it might only be worth one Sangamoli or two, Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, this budget is a clear, definitive roadmap to expedite our recovery efforts. Our young, innovative entrepreneurs can look forward to the YES program, which has a 95% success rate. Our exporters can look for the National Export Strategy to enhance exports. Our grassroots businesses in the North, Honourable Speaker, can very much look forward to the Northern Development Program, as our rural and peri-urban entrepreneurs can continue accessing the IHRDP. The combined project is worth about 1.2. Mr. Speaker, sir, our trade specialists, such as our chefs, our plumbers, our mechanics, our machinists, those who are in very high demand overseas also, will continue benefiting from our trade enhancement program. Mr. Speaker, sir, we introduced the trade enhancement program. Close to about 70% of those Fijians were women, Honourable Speaker, sir. So we don't just talk about women's empowerment, we actually create an enabling environment for them to thrive. I'd also like to acknowledge the exciting new product between the government and FDB, specifically dedicated to women-led MSMEs. And this allocation of $1 million will complement our work. Our standardized roadside stall programs will continue to provide access. Honourable Speaker, sir, further to the funding programs, our hand-holding and advisory services continue with our training teams with respect to cooperatives. With respect to reforms, Honourable Speaker, the Leader of Opposition claims of reforms by the government being imposed on people is very untrue. We have listened carefully to the concerns of the business community and investors. We have made improvements in the business processes by modernizing all processes and providing information online at a single point. We have actually, Mr. Speaker, said the World Bank in a recent survey showed that by removing these business licenses, businesses have saved at least $3.5 million in direct cost savings in addition to the time saved. This is a very conservative assessment, and that too from a single process. There are many other improvements in just starting a business. And Mr. Speaker said, just by readily making information available, we are becoming greater catalysts for businesses and investors. From the 1st of August, Honourable Speaker, sir, investing in Fiji will become a significantly easier thing to do rather than in our history. The government, sir, is making that happen. The new Investment Act will mean foreign investors no longer require a foreign investment registration certificate. All investors need to do is legally register their business with the Registrar of Companies in line with the Companies Act 2015 and register a tax number. All of this, Honourable Speaker, can happen online. The Investment Act is developed on international best practices. It's quite a simple act, but yet, again, it is criticised by the opposition, Honourable Speaker, sir. We have increased transparency, but this again also does not go down well with certain agents who have thrived on making money from delaying processes and blaming the government, Honourable Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in terms of transport, critical to the economy, and the land and maritime transport sector plays a vital role. Continued budget support to the sector underscores the Fijian commitment to ease accessibility and linkages. The LTA has been allocated a budget of 22.4 to ensure efficiency and effective services. We're actually also paying equal emphasis to our maritime sector with a budget of over $7 million, and MSAF will strengthen its monitoring of all vessels registered in Fiji, regulate all seafarers. Earlier this year, Honourable Speaker, one of the main shipping operators in Fiji announced the downsizing of its fleets in operation because of the hike in fuel costs. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Charlie, I hope you're listening, the government has stepped in with our government fleets and other private vessels to continue to operate and serve the maritime Fijians despite these particular constraints. Honourable Speaker, sir, the government continues to subsidise uneconomical sea routes to ensure that shipping services are provided on a regular basis. With respect to GSS, which recently services we've also been provided to Rotuma, which is badly affected, Rasuma, Yasa, Moala, Upper Southern Lao, Benga, Yanuda, Watuleli, Asawa. Honourable Speaker, sir, in terms of investment into town and country planning, March 2022, approximately $109.2 million had been spent by the public and private sector in the building construction industry, and that's an increase by 27%. Ministry is on course to bring those construction permit approvals online in the next 22 months. This will allow for a faster turnaround. In terms of, as a ministry responsible for planning towns also, Honourable Speaker, sir, we will in the new financial year continue the design and build of the new Number Walu passenger services facility and the waiting area, etc., around that particular area, sir. Construction proper is expected to commence next year. Honourable Speaker, sir, concurrently the civil works in Number Walu Town Centre will also commence. With a phase 1 consisting of development of 8 commercial lots. I'm also, Honourable Speaker, just in closing, happy to announce that the civil works, earthworks tender has been advertised for the Kayasi Town Centre development. The work shall commence in the new financial year with an allocation of $1 million. Honourable Speaker, sir, looking at the time, I'd like to just remind the opposition, Honourable Speaker, sir, that we are constructing a better and resilient Fiji, Honourable Speaker, sir. The aggregates for this country construction are the policies and strategies which are a fundamental part of the building of foundations. The 2022-2023 budget is backfilling the trench and the holes that have been created by the pandemic so that our foundation for the future is actually stronger. Fiji First government, Honourable Speaker, is the beams that will hold the main walls of the economy together by steadily implementing programs for the betterment of our people today and also for the future, Honourable Speaker, sir. I hope the general public heard what I said today, and I wholeheartedly, Honourable Speaker, support the 2022-2023 budget and look forward to the new financial year with a reinvigorated outlook. I thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honourable Minister for his contribution to the debate.